Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be unboxing the Separatist Fighter Squadrons expansion pack from Armada's Clone Wars Wave, or otherwise known as Wave 9. This particular box was actually sent to me. I did just get a full Clone Wars Wave review copy from Asmodee, which actually arrived just before my actual pre-orders coming. So this one was sent to me from Asmodee. Thank you very much, by the way, for sending this out. We're going to unbox this thing. We're going to take a look at all the squadrons and all the cards and everything that comes in this particular pack. And I will also be doing a full Clone Wars review once we've kind of gotten to everything. So basically stay tuned for more reviews. We're going to do all of it in good time. We've got ourselves all kinds of stuff in this particular pack. So this box is now empty. Everything we're going to get in here. We've got all of our squadrons here. We've got our cardboard and cards, and of course we've got our rules insert, which is going to have the component lists. We'll take a look at that. In this one we do have the paper proof of purchase as opposed to the cardboard proof of purchase. We also have our new squadron keywords references as far as the rules updates with things like intel, screen, dodge, and AI, and all of that. And maybe snipe if you're not familiar with the the snipe that kind of came out in limited squadrons and times past. First thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these squadrons. What I'll do is I'm going to set them up on some of their bases so we can kind of see them assembled. All right, so we've got everything put together right now, or at least as much as I can as far as the squadrons. I'm going to have 3 vultures that don't have a peg, because I only got 7 of the candelabra style multi-pronged stands. So instead of 8, because there's 8 squadrons in here. So I guess it starts off that I got a little bit of a less than perfect set. Now, I'm not personally going to worry about this too much. The reason being is you end up getting a lot of these between the multiple starters. And I'm going to have lots and more Vulture droids than I'll ever need. So I can probably put like the extra 3 Vulture droids back in the back, back in the bag or something like that. But yeah, basically, so here's just a kind of close-up look at the Vulture droids. Now, if you've already got the starter, you're going to already know what these look like, because they're the same. They're the same as you've already gotten. I'm probably not even going to use those ones. I'll probably just use the one for the named one that comes in here. However, we also have our Hyena bombers, and they look very, very similar to the Vulture droids. Very, very similar. As a matter of fact, we're a little more spikier on the back there. And here are some nice close-up looks at them. And if you want to compare them too, I'll put them both on here together. You can kind of see the Hyena bombers are a little bigger, have that kind of more bladed tail, and they're a little wider, just a little bit. I mean, it's very, very easy to get them mistaken. And of course, the biggest signature hallmark difference is that they have the 2 kind of bulbous cockpit things in the middle versus just the one for the Vulture droids. And so we have two of those, and of course now with these you can set them up however you like, because they're on round pegs here, so you can have them kind of flying in formation that way, or you can put them on any of the different, you have lots of different candelabras like you do, just like in all of the other packs. You've got kind of 3 up and down, you've got them kind of flying together with 2 behind, you've got them kind of descending, and lots of those different attachments. So it gives you a lot of customizability. Let's take a look at the Droid Tri-Fighters. Here they are. And these are this blue plastic, and some people have said, why did they make them in blue, and they should have made them in gray? Well, blue is kind of the Separatist color, right? It's like the color of the Separatist logo. It's the color it's painted on their ships. It makes sense. Plus, gray would probably get a little bit too confused with Imperial fighters. Don't forget, not everybody paints their stuff. Imperial players are probably going to have gray, Rebel players are going to have that teal, Republic's going to have red, and these guys are going to have blue. So on the table, they'll look about the same. So here's our little Droid Tri-Fighters. If you want to get a kind of a look at them. A lot of detail on these. I can't wait to get these things primed and painted. So that's gonna be fun. And then lastly, our Belbullabs, and of course we get 6 of each squadron, enough to make 2 squadron units, or 2 little candelabras, or in my case, missing 1. As far as counting everything else, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases, and then 8 of the bottom pegs. And so, yeah, we did get all of that. We've got our cardboard here, which is going to have all of that. I'll flip this one over so you can see the named versions on the other sides. They're all double-sided. We've got another one here. It's also going to be double-sided. Look at that Grievous. Oh, yes. And, of course, all our defense tokens. Let's take a look at the cards. And next up, we've got our cards. So we get an extra Vulture Droid Fighter Squadron card. Same that comes in the Separatist starter. Standard Swarm Fighter, a black and a blue, but if you activate them with a Squadron command, they get an extra die, so they can potentially roll a blue and 2 black. Red against ships, which is pretty cool. You have that potential for that double, and they are 4 movement, 3 hull. We're going to have a named Vulture Droid of DFS 311, who is going to have Scatter and Brace. He's also going to have Intel, so this is going to be, and Intel's pretty good. It's changed a little bit now. It only gives grit to friendly squadrons at distance 1, but I think it's still going to be very, very helpful. Intel's still a good ability. It's not as great as it used to be, but it's still going to be useful. And I think this is the only way that Separatists can currently get Intel. So even if you didn't want any more Vulture droids, I think you're going to want this one. And also, if you're defending, the attacker is obstructed, you may force the attacker to re-roll a die of your choice, which makes him a little harder to kill. You definitely want to point this, or park this dude on an asteroid if you can, which is always going to be a nice thing. We've got our Hyena class bomber droid squadron here. Our generic bombers, they're going to roll 2 blue die against ships, a red die against ships, rather 2 blue die against squadrons. Yeah, the red against ships is going to be nice because now instead of just being able to have the chance for that double, your crits are going to count too. So you got a little bit better chance of actually getting some damage through, but you also have AI battery. So if you do get activated with a squadron command, which for bombers, you absolutely want to activate them with a squadron command if they're going to be attacking ships, you will be able to roll an extra red die, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie, especially if you've got a bomber command center out there. I think that's going to be a really fun thing to do, is run a bomber command center with a bomber build. You can really do some nice things with the Hyena droids in that particular case. We also have the Bactoid prototype, who is going to be our bomber ace. It's going to have Scatter, which is pretty cool on a bomber. A scatter bomber, and of course the Brace. They're going to have, while attacking a ship, if another friendly squadron with bombers at distance 1 of the defender, you can change 1 die to a face with an accuracy. Not particularly great. There's not that many times where you really need it, but hey, you know what? It's already a bomber scatter ace. It doesn't really need to have that strong of an ability with the red dice. I mean, you might have one that's blank anyway. So hey, it's something. If you roll the double and you just want to say, hey, you know what, I don't want you bracing. Or if you roll the crit and you don't want them to contain, like that's really, I think, the main 2 things. Or you don't want them to, honestly, now even with evade, you don't want them to force you to re-roll that double. So there's a lot of potential for that, especially if it would have been a blank anyway. And then we also have DBS 404, who is another scatter ace, bomber scatter ace. Which is really something. While attacking, if you are touching the defender, you may suffer 1 damage to add a die in your attack pool of a color that's already in your attack pool. If you're touching him, this is just like, this might be the best bomber, right? Like, is already AI battery 1, and while you're attacking, you can suffer damage to add another die. So you can roll 3 red with this dude. It's just insane. It's really good. And it was for 17 points, too. I'd love it. I love it. I mean, put this guy somewhere near the station. I mean, forget about it. Forget about it. Our generic Tri-Fighter. Our generic Tri-Fighter is, and we're going to have 2 names for these guys as well. AI Anti-Squadron, and they have Counter 2 and Swarm, which is nice. I like Counter 2 is nice, and especially Counter with Swarm, because then you get to re-roll a die with your counter attack. And they're going to roll a red and 2 blue, and then a black against ships, which is not bad. They're kind of like that A-Wing. They're very fast. They got the speed 5 and a 3 hull. So they're just They're going to die quick, but they can get around quick, and they can disrupt other squadron presences fairly well. We've got the Flakafrock Frodo types. I said Flakafrock Frodo types. I think that's what we should call them. We should call them the Frodo types. Yes. My dear Frodo, you must take the ring to Mordor. But with speed 5, it won't take you long to get there. Oh, that's right. We'll do the rest of it in the Scottish... No more accents for this video. I did that for one of the last Armada videos, and I've got to be sparing with my accents. All right, 19 points. This is going to also be a scatter ace with a brace also. After an enemy squadron ends its activation at distance 1, they suffer 1 damage. So he's kind of like the delayed Mauler Mythal. We're also going to get a DIS T81, whose attacks cannot be obstructed, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. And by the way, these guys also get a black. They swap out a blue for a black on their anti-squadron compared to the regular. So that's nice. And he's Snipe 3 is another cool thing about this one. So he can park on an asteroid and then snipe from really far away. This guy is he's a little assassin, which is kind of fun. So we have 2 different named options there. And of course we've got the Belbullab-22 Starfighter Squadron, which is our General Grievous's type of ship. It's going to have relay 1 and screen while you are defending for each other friendly squadron the attacker is engaged with that lacks screen up to 3, you gain dodge 1. So basically, you don't want a whole bunch of these together. You want him with some other guys that are not him or that don't have the screen keyword. And that's a good way to kind of maybe prevent certain combinations, is my guess. But the Belbullab is it's pretty tough. It's going to have 5 hull, speed 4, 2 black and 2 blue against fighters, which is really nice. It's kind of like TIE Defender-ish for a point cheaper. So it's going to be real good against other fighters. Only 1 blue against ships. Does not have bomber, though. We've got our named General Grievous, 22 points. A little on the expensive side. Relay 2, so that's upgraded a little bit. Double brace while attacking a ship or squadron with no readied defense tokens. Each of your crit icons adds 1 damage to the damage total. So a little bit kind of Darth Vader-ish. But I like it. But it's a ship or squadron. He will completely murder generics because they don't have defense tokens at all. So they definitely don't have any readied defense tokens. But he wants to kind of go in late. He wants to have a lot of squadrons that can go in, exhaust all of those defense tokens. Then he comes in and then hopefully can rack up the damage. So that is pretty cool. All right, everybody, that is about it. Now, that's about all I've got for this review. It wasn't a whole lot of an unboxing. It was not as much to put together. An interesting thing, though, is with the Tri-Fighters and the bombers here having 2 named pilots, but only 2 things. You want to make sure you don't lose either of their particular inserts because each one is going to be different. Now, they each have the generic on the underside. But that's one thing you want to keep in mind, that you don't kind of get them confused, because usually in previous squadron packs, for the other factions, it was always like they were all the same. It would have the new named and then the generic on the other side. So whereas the Belbullab and the other Vulture droids don't really have that problem because they only have 1 named each. Overall, disappointing that I didn't have the extra little candelabra piece, but if this happens to you, you'd have to save your receipts. Definitely save your receipts. I would have had to have written FFG and or whoever I ordered it from and tried to request a replacement piece from them. I'm not worried about it because I've got so many of these. It's not even an issue for me. But if this happens to you, you have to go back to whoever you bought it from and then request a replacement piece. And that's kind of a bummer when that happens to happen, but it is what it is. All right, guys, this has been the Separatist Fighter Squadrons expansion pack unboxing. Stay tuned for more. We've got more stuff, more Armada, more other games as well. If you are new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button, leave a comment. That's going to enter you to win one of my many giveaways. I'm doing giveaways all throughout December for the 12 Days of Life Day. You don't want to miss that. Check the links in the description below for some links to my website, to my Discord channel, as well as Patreon. But big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing. I could not do this without you. And big thanks to Fantasy Flight Games and Asmodee for sending this out for review. Thank you, guys. And if you want to order this from Asmodee, I believe they're all still in stock. I'll put a link for that in the description as well. Thank you guys so much. And as always, Have a great day.